BART Corp prepared its aging of accounts receivables at the end of the current year. The company determined that the net realizable value of its receivables were $260,000. Some additional information are as follows. The allowance for uncollectibles at the first day of the year, there's a credit balance existing of $31,000. The accounts that were written off as uncollectible, $23,000. Accounts receivable at the end of the year was now $290,000, and the uncollectible amounts that were recovered was $12,000. So for the end of the year, BART's uncollectible accounts expense would be what? All right, so as we mentioned, our allowance for uncollectible accounts are going to be a contra asset. And just like any contra asset or any sort of asset on the balance sheet, it can fluctuate in value throughout a period of time. So it's going to start with our beginning balance, which is $31,000. And we're going to essentially now just back into our bad debt expense. So this is going to be our current period expense, which will be located on the income statement. So we're going to be taking the rest of this information to essentially back into this figure. So this is going to be basically the adjusted increase for the current year or decrease. So what else do we know about the information that we have? We know that we have accounts that were written off as uncollectible. Basically, this is going to be reducing our allowance balance because it's essentially saying that we are no longer going to have these accounts that we think are going to be uncollectible because we're writing them off entirely. So again, these are going to be a reduction to our balance. So we are going to reduce our balance by $23,000. And what else do we have here? We have uncollectible accounts that were recovered. So this is going to be an addition from these once uncollectible accounts that were written off. We're basically saying that we went back and now we recovered those that we wrote off. People did end up paying us those receivables. So that is going to be an addition to our balance. So we're going to add back the $12,000 for the recovery of our write-offs. And the final thing that we're going to have to compute is going to be our ending balance of our accounts receivables. So when in doubt, the allowance related to this can always be the difference between the fair market value of the accounts receivables at the end of the period less the net realizable value. So we know that our market value is $290,000, and we know that our net realizable value is $260,000. We know that our ending balance is going to be $30,000. We now have enough information to back into our bad debt expense for the current period. $31,000 plus $12,000 less $23,000 gives us what? Well, 31 plus 12 is 43, less 23, we're going to have $20,000. We need an ending balance of $30,000. We're going to have to add what? $10,000. That is going to be our bad debt expense. C is correct.